to Beyond the Barrier,
Rockingham 905.
the podcast where we explore the wild world of public safety, fire, law enforcement, EMS, and security with your hosts, Jake, Corwin, and Joe. We're here to break down the barriers and go beyond the usual topics, from heroic tales of first responders to the latest tech in the security industry. We've got you covered, so buckle up and get ready for a ride that's sure to be as exciting as a high-speed chase, but with less sirens. Let's jump beyond the barrier and see what's on the other side.
North 901. Starting at cars for a parking problem.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We'll get started here with a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any artwork or anything like that, make sure you email it over to us at beyondthebarrier1@gmail.com. We have a special guest with us today that we're excited to have with us. We have Iceman from MotorCop Chronicles. Iceman, if you want, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're able to disclose with us real quick?
I've been in law enforcement now for almost 28 years, 2 more years to retirement. I've been on a police motorcycle for over 20 of those years. I'm just I'm a sarcastic asshole most of the time. So
Yeah, if you get the chance after you listen to this episode, go take a look at his Facebook page, MotorCop Chronicles. Like and follow his podcast. It's a great show to listen to how we found out about it. Listen to it, have a quick laugh. So we'll just get started here real quick. What got you into law enforcement? What drive was that, or how'd that all start?
well, my plan was not even to go into law enforcement. I went to college to be a mortician. Yeah.
What made you a mortician? What made you originally pursue that?
I had there's a man that lived up the road from me that he did it for a living, and I was just always kind of interested in it. And he used to bring me with him when he used to do some contract stuff when I was in high school. And I don't know, it was a neat job, and I was doing it. I should have took a little time off. And I started while I was in college. I was also apprenticing at a funeral home on the West Bank in New Orleans. Picked up a lot of bodies from the Children's Hospital, and I guess I was only 19 or 20 at the time, and I just got tired of cutting babies open and embalming them. I should have stuck it out, because I got friends that are still doing it, and they don't even cut no more and embalm. They just manage funeral homes now. So. But I ended up quitting that and ended up working DOC, state DOC. And I had a friend over there that told me about reserve, and I said, that sounds neat. So I started being a reserve deputy out where I lived at. And 2 years into that, they had an opportunity for me, and I ended up going full time.
Mortician. That's interesting.
That's crazy. My wife went to school for mortuary science. Yeah. Funny thing about it now is we live in an old funeral home.
People are dying to meet you.
That is true.
To sum it up, you wanted to become a mortician so you can poke bodies with sticks?
No, I just I don't know. It was a good paying job.
That's fair.
And most of your clients, they don't complain.
No, I'm sure they don't. They don't have a whole lot to say either.
It was just, I don't know. It just, it's something that has to be done, and somebody has to do it. So
I can personally say, though, your aspect from where you got tired of picking up children and stuff, things like that. I've worked at 2 hospitals, and one of them had the county morgue as well. And I got tired of seeing that stuff. It just got old, because we'd have to check in and check out all the deceased bodies, and then you also have to be there when the crime scene team or whatever would come down and take pictures of anything that they thought was suspicious. And it just got tired of seeing that crap.
Well, I still got to see it. I just don't see it as often.
So I didn't get out of it either, because I'm a medic on the fire department too, and I still have to deal with it there.
Yeah. So besides the hospital crap, Joe and I both do. We both work on a fire department, doing EMS and fire. So we have that experience as well. We've both been doing it for over 10 years.
run a lot of calls with that?
It varies.
We're at
We're-
136 calls so far this year.
We work on a rural department, so we talked about it in one of our other episodes. I like to say we're an EMS agency that does fire on the side because we don't do much for firefighting.
You'll probably see more doing the EMS part of it. Our fire department's out here. We're not big city where I'm at, and the firemen, the full-time firemen they have at the station, or EMTs and firemen combined. So when they call out, you'll get a fire truck in your yard because they come out with the fire truck.
Yeah, it's about the same for us.
It's not a separate ambulance or anything. They got the ambulance service itself. They'll call.
After a couple years of the reserve, you became a full-time sheriff's deputy.
Well, yeah, it seemed like I was putting in more time. They thought I was full-time deputy too, because I worked shift work at the prison. So every day I was off, which was about 15 days out the month, I was in a police car working after I was trained and cut loose. So yeah, I went full-time. And the department I worked at that time didn't have motorcycles or nothing, so I was working uniform patrol. I got in trouble for wrecking police cars. I got moved to the jail, where I was in jail for 2 months, made supervisor at the jail. Then I came back out of the jail, went back on the street, and they decided they were going to start a motorcycle division. Tried out for it, made it. I was on motorcycles for a few years. I got in trouble again for being a smart ass, and I got put in the courthouse as a bailiff for about a year, and they were needing help on the motorcycles, and we didn't have court every day. So they started letting me back on the motorcycles to help out when I didn't have court. Well, me being me, I decided one day I just didn't feel like being a bailiff no more, and just stopped going into the courthouse to bailiff and just started riding a motorcycle full time. And nobody ever said nothing. And so I moved. I transferred myself basically, and then so I was back on bikes, and I ended up being promoted. I made sergeant over motors, and I was at that department for 23 and a half years. Some stuff happened. I just needed to change. So I quit there, and I went to the department that I'm with now. I've been there for about 6 years, almost 5 years or something. And I just retired from this one. So I went back in the uniform for a year, and the sheriff I'm working for now, they got an opening in motors, and he called me and asked me if I wanted to get back on a motorcycle. And I said,
So is motorcycle, is police on motorcycle, is that a common thing where you're at?
no, well, in our area, I mean, most all the sheriff's officers around here have motorcycles. Some of the Baton Rouge Police Department has motorcycles, and a lot of these smaller PDs have them. Not a whole bunch of them, but yeah, we run escorts on them, funeral escorts, traffic crashes, and all that stuff like that.
It's almost like a taboo thing where we live. I've never seen a cop on a motorcycle here ever, or even heard of it, being a thought that they had.
Oh, really? We're a big political tool too. People love see motorcycles at parades and little kids and all that stuff like that. So we're multifaceted of everything we're used for.
I'd like to go back here just a second. So what is the certification process like in Louisiana for a police officer?
Well, now I'm not 100% sure. You got to realize when I went to police academy, it was in 1995, 96. Now I don't know how. I think police academy is like 6 months long now, because I know them guys that go to academy are going for, it seems like forever.
Do you have to be sponsored there to go to a police academy?
Yes, you cannot go to. Well, there's a couple different ones around the state, but you're not going to get into an academy to get post certified unless you've already been hired on at a department.
Okay, I was pretty curious. It's the same way here. So I was just pretty curious about that because I just like Missouri, for instance,
It's backwards.
you can just go to college and get post certified there. So I didn't know what the difference was.
Yeah, I've heard some other people talking on different podcast stuff. Like some places you actually have to go get post certified, and then you start putting in your application to different departments.
Yeah, that's Missouri right there.
And Missouri is self-sponsor. So if you self-sponsor, then you pay for everything.
Yeah, it's like when we go to police academy, the department pays for everything. You're actually getting paid a salary because you're an employee while you're going.
Yeah, that's the same for here in Iowa.
Now, if you get kicked out, don't think they might not fire you too. So I mean, we've seen that happen before too. Well, I know some departments now, between field training and your academy time, it could be a year before you actually working by yourself on the street.
That's with the Iowa Reserve Program. Individual police departments do the modules through the state, through ILEA, and that takes a significant amount of time, anywhere from 6 to 8 months. And then you have to go through FTO as well. And it's a pain. It really is. Now they could chop it down depending on how ambitious you are. But I think we started with 9. Of the 9 of us that became reserves for the city I worked in, 3 of us made it past FTO to go on our own.
Well, Louisiana's one of the few places, like I said, especially I've talked to some of these big city cops that they freak out. Louisiana, you can work up to a year on the street before you go to post academy.
Yeah, you can here in Iowa too.
Now, most of the time, like I said, they'll hire people. They got some around. They're working on the street, but they're riding with an FTO, working, learning stuff. And then they'll go to police academy and they'll come out and, they'll test them to see if they're ready to go by themselves or not. But yeah, you can work up to a year before you ever go to academy.
And I could be wrong, but our sheriff does not have to be certified at all because it's an elected position.
So, I don't think any hours have to be either, because they just got the Orleans Parish sheriff, which is she's never even been in law enforcement before. She's a paper pusher out of Los Angeles, and they elected her as sheriff.
Jake, fun fact, I actually went through this because my hometown, the county, was going through political upheaval, and they needed me to coach the sheriff candidate who had never been in law enforcement before. He was a manager for a big box store, and he's like, this sounds cool and fun, and, I already got the business part down. Law enforcement will be easy. I told him, you're a dumbass, but that's beside the point. Law enforcement's not easy. 2, you're still going to have to get certified. So in the state of Iowa, your sheriff does have to be certified as a law enforcement officer. I think it's 1 year after appointment.
You're exempt from the physical requirements, though.
Correct.
It explains a lot because we had like a 400-pound sheriff, so...
Hey, that's just an abundance of command presence.
Watch out now. I'm 305 pounds.
I guess I'll go back on my statement that I've never seen a cop in Iowa on a motorcycle. That sheriff that I'm talking about, he did ride a motorcycle every once in a while, but it was just one he threw together himself. It wasn't like, bought by the county or the city. He just was like, I want to ride a bike, so he made a police bike.
Do they have constables in Louisiana?
We do have constables, but basically all they do is evictions.
That sounds like a waste of resources.
That's a elected official position. They get elected. It's usually just them, and they just do. Like somebody's getting evicted, they go handle the eviction stuff.
Weird.
Shit gets bad, they'll call us.
Are they armed or anything?
Yes.
And they still have to call you when it gets bad.
Usually because they're like 60, 70-year-old men.
Okay, now it makes a little more sense.
Because I don't think it pays very much at all. We have marshals too, like ward marshals, and basically they're bailiffs in city court in their whatever ward they're in, and they serve they do warrants and paperwork. They're not actually out enforcing the law. Like
funny about that, I just seen something the other day about Ward 6 marshals.
Yeah, like I live in Ward 2 area, which we have Ward 2 marshals. It's a big ward, I think they got like 4, but basically they got like these, let's say you have a membership that you had to sign a contract, and you just stop paying them. And the people, take you to court, get judgment against you, and they come pick you up, bring you in, basically make you pay it and crap like that. That's what they do.
Huh. Interesting. It's always fun to hear other guys talk about, the different aspects of law enforcement in even in other cities in the area, but especially out of state.
Well, most all the sheriff's offices in Louisiana, we actually law enforcement, except for Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office does not patrol the streets and enforce the law, because Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office is inside of, the city of New Orleans. It don't extend out, and you have New Orleans City Police. So their sheriff's office basically serves papers, civil papers, they bailiff, and they do the jail. They're not out patrolling the streets or nothing like that. That's the only one I know of in the state, because we have jurisdiction where we actually patrol and everything.
Huh. Yeah, that's crazy that they is it like they don't want to step on police department's toes, or just
New Orleans is its own entity. I have no idea.
That's
I have no idea. New Orleans is its own beast. I get all the people like, oh, I want to go visit New Orleans. I'm like, if you just want to experience the smell of New Orleans, go stand inside of a porta can after it's been used on a hot day. Because that's what New Orleans smells like. It smells like hot piss and shit. That's what it smells like. It's nasty.
Cajun seasoning.
No, it's just New Orleans it's dirty. It's dirty. I mean, don't walk down the wrong streets, you're gonna get murdered. It's extremely dangerous. Our murder capital rate in Baton Rouge and in New Orleans was like, per capita people was higher than what it was in Chicago. We just don't have as many people, But I mean, our murder rate's crazy down here. People's like, oh, it's Louisiana. No, them people, like Baton Rouge, ain't nothing on the day. 3 people got shot and such. We don't even think about it anymore.
That's insane to think of, because you just you don't hear about New Orleans in that sense. At least, I mean, I haven't.
It's bad.
I can imagine though. I imagine it, and then you have all the people that do like voodoo and shit, and they do all creepy spells that they cast on you. And shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta watch out for Marie Laveau and stuff like that.
So, what's it like being a cop today as opposed to it was back in the 90s when you got started?
Oh, it sucks. It's just, it's easy to say it sucks. I don't even, people look, it's like, I don't know, you don't want to be a cop, go be a fireman. People like firemen. It's like, no. I mean, I was talking about right after 9/11. I mean, people loved this. I mean, everybody was like, oh, now it's like, you can just be driving down the road, minding your own freaking business, and, people flip you off and shit for nothing. It's like, what the hell you flipping me off for? I ain't done nothing to you, Or, just like, tell me I'm number one. I'm like, yeah. I had some dude not too long ago. He got pissed off though. Yeah, like, man, fuck the police. I said, buddy, I appreciate it and all. And I know it's 2023, but I'm straight. You do you though, but I only like women. And he didn't know. Basically, I told him he was a cocksucker without calling him a cocksucker, and he got mad and left because he didn't know what to say. So, but yeah, being a cop nowadays, it is not like it used to be at all. Then we get these younger kids coming out that are starting to be cops, and they worried about feelings and all that stuff. That's why I said I need to go ahead and retire, because I'm a dinosaur cop. I'll snatch a motherfucker out of a car window in a heartbeat and go hands on, and they want to talk to them. Look, here's a Rice Krispie treat. Let's talk about your feelings for a minute, sir. What can I do today to help you not be triggered? No, fuck you. Get out the car. You're going to go to jail because you don't have your shit. But no, they don't do that no more. And then you're worried about a younger cop, we got to go hands on. This kid ain't never been punched in the face in his entire life. You don't know what you're going to do after you get punched in the face. I know what I'm going to do when I get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face. But these kids now, they don't fight in high school. They don't fight no more. I talked to one the other day. He's a great kid. He's 20-something years old. We were talking. I said, you ever been punched in the face? Like, well, no, I've never been in a fist fight. What the fuck you doing as a cop? But that's what you got now. Because of all this, basically they're raising a bunch of pussies in school and stuff no more. You don't have men. You got women with penises and men with vaginas. That's what's wrong with it. No, if you want to help people, go be a fireman. You play video games, cook, and sleep while you're working. How was that?
Do it.
They do more than you want
Be
to
a fireman.
Oh no,
That's
go
what-
be a fireman or EMS.
Well, when I say fireman, that's all kind of combined here. So,
Oh,
I mean, you can't, like I said, when you go to fire academy here, you can't get certified unless you get you got to get your EMT and stuff like that.
nice.
That's part of fire academy.
That's the best answer I've heard in a long time. I will say though, all three of us, we worked on a mental health unit.
We've all been punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got Superman punched off the wall and almost got knocked out. That was my most interesting deal I've had.
See, when they come at you with the Superman, you got to go all Spider-Man. I don't know.
Got to be a fucking spider monkey.
I just didn't even see it coming. I should have. I just did not see it coming though. But yeah, I being in a hospital setting, we're kind of forced to do that. Negotiating, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, because they're patients.
Not if they're discharged.
But there has been plenty of times where I'm like, man, this motherfucker just needs the shit slapped out of him.
I hate it when the hospital, in the jurisdiction where I work now, that's all they have. They have one deputy on duty, working there for extra pay. And I've had to go there and help before. We call them OPCs. It's Order of Protective Custody. But I hate having to sit there with crazy people or just stupid people in general. It's yeah.
It's definitely interesting to say the least. And I mean, we deal with a lot of law enforcement. I can say all of them hate sitting at the hospital too. They just fucking hate it.
Oh yeah, it's just I hate it. Then they discourage you, from dry stunning the people when they don't want to listen. So
Something about it might make their heart tick a little faster.
we're not worried about that. They just said it's mean. Cruel, some of that cruel, unusual. I don't know. Don't make no sense to me.
I know.
Their feelings first.
They've changed so much. Like here, we don't use leather restraints. We can only use restraints at certain times. You can only put restraints on in certain positions. There's so much that has changed. It's just they're all concerned about hurting people's feelings or just hurting them as a person or whatever. And it's like 80% of the people we see in a hospital who are on these court orders, they ain't there because they're fucking crazy. They're there because they're doing drugs.
Yeah, just criminals. I actually see one of my candles I have here.
I love it.
Great.
Everybody should own one.
It's like I don't care about, your feelings. I was raised up that sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can't hurt you. People nowadays. I'm waiting. Nobody's ever done it to me. I've got a pretty, I got one of them faces. Some of these people look at me and say, "Why are you pissed off?" I'm like, "I'm not mad." They just say I look mean. And nobody's ever hit me. Well, my pronouns are, because I'm waiting for somebody to hit me with the pronouns. My pronouns are wig and wham. I'm gonna say, well, my pronouns is sweet dick daddy with the candy balls, but you can just call me daddy. So that's what I'm gonna tell them.
So I've got to ask, have you ever been in a pursuit on your motorcycle? And how does that go?
Well, they don't like us to pursue on the motorcycles.
I figured that would be the answer.
But I have, and as soon as like a unit got there, we just drop off and let the unit take over the pursuit, and we'll just kind of follow along in the back, because we were chasing one, somebody cut a U-turn in a parking lot. Next thing I know, I had a car coming head on at me, and I'm on a motorcycle. I'm automatically going to lose that battle. Thank God, I think he turned before he got to me, but yeah, that it's just very discouraged. It's not like on TV, it's like,
Now, how many times on the motorcycle has your has the seat had to be removed from your ass cheeks?
No, probably couldn't count. I've had one I can remember straight off the bat. I got dispatched to a crash with injuries where somebody was ejected out of the vehicle, which that's never good when you're ejected out of the vehicle. And it happened to be raining, and I was still on a motorcycle, and was coming up by school, running lights and sirens, and instead of moving to the right, dipshit decides, oh shit, and they just put their brakes on, and I saw a blinker come on to the left. So I'm like, well, I don't want to go that way because they may turn into me. And it's raining. I start hitting my brakes, and I just feel my tires sliding underneath me. I'm just sliding. I pump them, and I'm sliding. So I'm looking at the back of a pickup truck, and then I'm looking, and all this is happening quick. It sounds slow, but this is all happening extremely fast. And I look at the ditch, which is full of water, and I'm like, okay, that's not going to hurt as bad as the back of that pickup truck if I hit it, because I'm figuring out where I want to crash at this point. Well, when I move over to head towards the ditch, I noticed I had about 3.5 feet right on the fog line on the right-hand side of that truck. And if I moved my head right, my head wouldn't hit the mirror. So I took that lane to travel, and I went around it that way, and I kept going and went to the crash. Well, they had a PD guy working traffic by the school. I guess he saw me, and later afternoon he's like, oh, I saw you showing off. I saw you shoot. I was like, dude, I said, I still got vinyl in my asshole right now because I was about to just crash into the ditch and said, oh, look, I think I can make this, and I happened to do it. Wasn't showing off. It was just sheer survival at that moment in time. I'm glad it looked good, but no, I wasn't going to lie about it.
Didn't feel good.
It scared the shit out of me, At least I looked good doing it,
I had a car accident not too long ago. Girl driving drunk and wrecked her car. She's the luckiest person I've ever met. She got ejected from the car, got fucked up. I mean, she was beat up, and we life flighted her off the highway. If she hadn't got ejected, though, she'd have burned to death. The car was fully engulfed when we got there. So, I mean, it was just the craziest thing. Jake was on this call with me. He's not a medic, but I am. So I went to the girl, and he said, man, I was just so scared walking to that car that I was going to just see a crispy body in there.
Oh, yeah. It smells like barbecue. So everybody tells me, like, what's a burned body smell like? Especially, down to mortuary stuff. And we was creaming. I said, it sounds like barbecue. It smells like to me anyway.
There you got your answer, Jake.
Smells like barbecue.
I was pretty nervous walking up to that car. Not because I'm not afraid of the smell or anything like that. It's just like, man, I'm about to see someone that has lost their life in probably the most excruciating way that I can think of. I imagine it's horrible to burn to death.
Well, from what I understand, I think I've read about is one of the worst ways to die is burning to death, because if you're still awake, hopefully you've passed out or something or died from smoke inhalation first. But if you haven't, that you can, before you die, you can actually feel your skin melting off of your body. So I think that'd be pretty horrific to feel flesh melting from your bones before you die in excruciating pain.
Yeah, I can imagine it's terrible. So, what made you start your podcast?
Well, my wife and my stepdaughter talked me into it. I wasn't going to do it. They had another guy around here. He has a podcast, which he's actually big. Woody Overton with Real Life, Real Crime.
Never heard of him, but we've heard of you.
Well, good. Appreciate it. But anyway, he's more does the true crime stuff. Well, I had listened to him some, the wife and him like, oh, well, why don't you do a podcast show? He has stories to tell and all this stuff like this. I'm like, finally they talked me into it. And of course, you only have so many stories to do. You're going to eventually run out of your own stories. So then I started with the midweek news stuff. I had some different co-hosts, and Holstersby will be the longest, him and Freebird now. But we talk on every Wednesday. We go live at 7:00 Central, and I pick out different stories of law enforcement and criminals, cops, good and bad. And of course, criminals are just always bad, but from all over the United States and the world. And we tell you what the story is, and then give our unfiltered opinion on it. Like I said, sometimes I get pretty graphic because one time they're like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe you said that. But on Sundays I try to put out audio either with a guest where I've interviewed, or if I don't, I'll just talk about whatever happened to me in a week, or if not, I'll do some Louisiana crime and stuff like that. So been going on for about 3 years now. I just like it. I have a little fan base. It's not ginormous or nothing like that, but I have some people, like every time I go live, I can pretty much tell you who's going to be in my live chat. I just enjoy doing it. I've got to meet cops and stuff and talk to people from all over around the world and stuff. And I would never got that opportunity if I wouldn't have been talked into doing a podcast.
So what made you I think I kind of know what your disguise is that you use. Is it Sig from the Devil's Rejects?
No.
Oh, damn it, I thought it was.
No, it's Kratos from the God of War.
Oh, it is. Yes, I totally see it now. Oh.
It just happens to be one of the snap filters. I just like that one. I've tried a whole. I used to use the cartoon face one, and then I used the Brad Pitt one. I've used all kind of other ones. And I found that one, and I just stuck with it. I said that's kind of my personality, because actually I'm thinking about letting my wife shave my head now. I'm just getting tired of this hair shit,
I told Joe, I said, we're going to be meeting he's bald and stuff. And he's like, I don't know. I was like, I get it's a filter, but, I think that's his actual, his hairline and everything. And obviously I was so fucking wrong, but
I actually, because I'm anonymous, people don't, some people actually think that's what I look like. I'm like, could you imagine the complaints I get on me if I look like that in law enforcement? I mean, I think it would be pretty badass looking, but I happened to be at the vet about a month or so ago. Me and my future son-in-law, were one of the dogs, and I had one of my this is one of my T-shirts, but I got my own merchandise and stuff. And I try to give away a free T-shirt twice a month. And this lady was in there, and she saw I was in one of my T-shirts, and she's like, "Oh, you won the T-shirt the other day?" I was like, "Excuse me?" It wasn't clicking with me. She said, "You won the free." She said, "I came in second place." She said, "You won the T-shirt?" I'm like, "No, ma'am." I said, "It's my podcast." Nice, man. You have hair? I'm like, that's not the filter's working great. Cause I said, that's not what I look like. This is me. I'm anonymous. So it's like, I do have people that listen to fans. If I do meet them, they don't know it's me. They just think I'm so, where'd you get that T-shirt at? It's like, and she, my future son-in-law said, well, that was kind of neat because, kind of like, had a fan actually got to meet me, because usually that don't happen because everybody thinks I'm bald with a long beard with a red tattoo on my face.
I correlated the red tattoo with Sig from the Devil's. I just figured it was like maybe blood or something. But yeah, I was completely wrong. But yeah, I when you came into the chat, I was like, oh shit, I'm so wrong.
I've been talking about every now and then I get thinking I've shaved my head, because when I do it, I'll actually get her, put a razor to it and do it shiny bald. But no, I got hair. I'll be growing my beard soon in November instead of just my goatee.
Getting ready for winter.
Yeah.
I can't get that cold down there. Geez.
It don't. It don't.
Yeah.
We've had a hellacious summer. I think it was it was cooler today. I think it was only 95 degrees.
Easy winter for us is 20 degrees all winter long.
Oh no. Our summer this year, we were, it wasn't nothing to be hitting 105 before the heat index would be like at 120.
See, we get the worst of both worlds. We get the super cold and the super hot. It's like,
yeah, but I think y'all have a dry heat, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got the humidity 80, 90 sometimes.
Corn sweats.
Our humidity runs, when you're on 65% humidity, it's 110 degrees outside. It's like it's like you're in a shower all the time, a sauna.
You guys chose to have a giant swamp. We didn't choose that.
I think God chose that. I don't think, we had a bunch of Cajun people. It's like, oh yes, yeah, let's go put a swamp over. Yeah, I don't think it works quite like that.
Well, I mean, in fairness, Louisiana is what happens when you lose Frenchmen in a swamp, and it's the French. It's the French's fault.
Oh, that's whose fault it is?
Yes. Always blame the French.
Well, you say you guys, so that just sounds funny. Y'all probably think I got a country accent, too. You hear some of the people, see what people I work with is more in the Cajun area. So they all got the old Cajun Bayou accent, kind of like the Troy Landry sounding people from Swamp People. Told them.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And then you got that Shelby Stinger or whatever, however you say his name. That guy too.
So a lot of people's like, I pull people over and they're like, I don't have to, because I've watched Swamp People. I'm like, why they got subtitles? I know what he's saying. But y'all say you guys. Y'all probably call it soda instead of pop.
They call it pop. I call it soda.
Jake and I are from Arkansas originally.
So everything, we call it. It's like everybody's like, we call all carbonated drinks Coke, even though I don't even like Coke. But it's like, you know, if my wife knows if I say give me a Coke, I don't want a Coke. I want something like I like the fruit flavor carbonated beverages or Mountain Dew. So if I say give me a Coke, she knows what I mean. That don't mean give me a Coke because I don't want Coke.
So you're saying you like it a little fruity?
I like the fruity flavored beverages.
Gotcha.
I don't. The only rainbow I taste is Skittles. I don't drink Bud Light. Do you drink Bud Light?
I don't drink much anymore. Actually, I don't think any of us three drink much anymore.
No, I don't drink beer. I drink whiskey.
Jim Beam or Jack?
I really like the Old Smoky brand. I just got 2/5 of the banana flavored, and I got some more of the strawberry lemonade. I like Lead Slingers. They're made by some veterans and stuff.
Now, before I say this, before I tell you this, I'll just say that in Iowa, there are no laws on the book about making moonshine. But I will admit that I have a still in my house.
As long as you don't drink that first part of it, right? Make you go blind.
Gotta get rid of the heads first.
I don't think I've made wine and stuff. I don't know. I've had the discussion with the people down here, like, oh, well, they make. That's like, is it really illegal to make moonshine as long as you don't sell it?
There are some states who regulate how much you can have on hand at a time.
Because I think that's why they don't want people making it, is because they're losing out on the tax money for it. Most stuff, believe it or not,
that's
you
pretty
think
much
about it. On law stuff wise, legal stuff wise, they've made some things illegal, not because if it's bad for you or anything else, it's because they can't regulate their taxes on it.
Yep.
Well, it's like marijuana, same concept.
I was having that discussion now because I vape, of course, and I make my own juice and stuff. There's another thing. They're trying to shut down the vaping stuff again.
Yeah.
It's like they're legalizing weed all over the freaking place, but let's make it illegal to smoke vegetable oil, and let's blame it on the kids. Oh, we don't want the kids to do it. The kids are going to do it regardless. So, what you going to do? Drive everybody back to smoking cigarettes? Since I vape, I've damn near weaned myself completely off of nicotine, and I haven't had a cigarette in like 12 years now. Not one.
I did the same thing you did. I started vaping to quit smoking, and I did that over a year ago and haven't smoked a cigarette.
I just vape because I could still enjoy. I just enjoy smoking, but I don't have no nicotine no more. I make my own juice and put my flavoring in it, but it's just more of the habit of just doing it. But what about all these other people? Like I said, it helped me. My doctor was happy I was vaping and quit smoking.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that. I'm a huge advocate for. I think marijuana should be legal, but it's crazy to think that they're willing to try and outlaw something like vaping, but we're still legalizing marijuana across the entire country. Like,
yep.
Where do you guys stop with the stupid ass laws on things that the only reason you want to make laws is so you can either make money or take away money from the economy?
Exactly. That's big tobacco wanting to shut vaping down because they've lost billions of dollars. And me and my other host a couple weeks ago had a discussion on the marijuana thing. I was like, I'm all about them legalizing weed. Our discussion was, but being a cop, you can't smoke weed. You know, and he was like, well, if it's on weekend, when you, I'm like, I don't care. So what happens if something happens? How are you going to test to see if I only smoked on the weekend or not?
Yeah, I mean,
that's my thing.
You're just fucked at the end of the day.
So, yeah, so I said, you know, we had a big discussion on stuff. You got to make that decision. You want to smoke weed or you want to be a cop? To me, you can't be both. You know, not against it. I say legalize it. Get the tax money off of it. Hell, when I retire, I may smoke some myself, but I'll be retired. I'm not going to do it. So you got to make that decision. Just like I see a lot of this crap on TV. I've been reading about people with the Crown Act and their hairstyles and stuff. Oh, that's part of our culture. You know, just like being a cop, you know, or a lot of jobs, you have to have your hair can't be a certain length, or it can't be this way, or it can't be that way. It doesn't do with culture. It's called your, you know, I can't walk around with a ponytail if I want, unless I'm in narcotics.
I went to college, so I went to college for criminal justice at a community college. A couple of the people that I went to school with had facial hair, and some of the departments that they wanted to go to had restrictions on that facial hair. And the instructors and everyone else is like, well, if you want to work there, choose one or the other. You either work there or you don't have a beard.
Exactly. Like I said, the department I have, we can grow a beard from like October or November to like March. Other than that, we can have a goatee or a mustache. I know another department I used to be with, you can have a mustache, and from like November to February, you can have a beard. Other than that, you got to be clean shaved. Different departments have different. Some departments you can only have a mustache or clean shaven. Period. I mean, it depends on if you don't like it, don't work there.
Mm-hmm.
Shave.
Same with tattoos.
When I worked at the hospital before, so I worked there long before Jake and Corwin did. At that time I worked there, they had a no facial hair policy. We had an officer there that grew out a beard and all that, and so our boss went to him and told him he had to shave it and all this, and he got a religious exemption.
What kind of religion you have to have a beard?
He made up his own religion.
Oh, beard, Church of the Beard.
I don't remember what he called it or what he did, but yeah, he got it through HR and all that. Had his own religion, and then after the process was all done, he shaved it just to piss him off.
But it's just like anything. I mean, it's like you make the tattoo things. Like the department where I'm at, I'm working on it. My next one's going to be right here. You can have full sleeves as long as there's nothing racial or sexual on it. You know, department I came from, you could have tattoos, but you're going to wear a sleeve over it to cover it up. You can't have any visible tattoos, you know, outside of your shirt. So you can have it, but you're going to wear like either a black sleeve or a flesh colored sleeve or something like that. You know,
that's how it originally was where I work. You used to have your tattoos covered, but now, you know, hospitals are so inclusive now and diverse and everybody matters and whatever. They just want you to express yourself as long as you don't go against their values.
Oh, everything's fine as long as that's just general public now. It seems like break shit going. It's like, as long as, you know, you agree with us, it's fine and dandy.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I got a question that, I don't know, I guess from sitting here talking with you probably isn't a tough one for you, but what's it like in the law enforcement community when a officer is killed in a line of duty?
Like in general, or a department where like you know the person, or
just in general? Not, you know, you may not specifically know the person, but you know, might be someone in your department way down the road that you only pass by every now and then.
I mean, it's always rough. I mean, especially the motorcycle cop. I've been in so many in line of duty deaths. I couldn't even tell you how many funerals. I hate them. I hate going to them. I hate doing them, but I do them. I hate the last call. It just, you know, it just hits you. So, you know, just after burying, I've buried way too many friends. Just, it's somber. We go to it and we pay our respects. It's just, but I almost feel it when it's not even around here, like even close to other states and stuff, you know. 'Cause I know what we go through on a daily basis, and some worse than others. And to have somebody, you know, all these people are hollering ACAB, fuck the police, who want to defund you. But you got people out there that will gladly, well, don't want to, but they will sacrifice their own life to save somebody that they don't even know, that probably hates their guts, but they'll still do it anyway. And you know, and then people, you know, want to disrespect it and all that stuff like that. I do an end of the first of every month. I do an end to watch episode. It's just audio, and I'll read off everybody that every law enforcement that died in the line of duty for that entire month, their name, where they worked at, how old they are, and how they died. And I do that every month. So
And that's actually the reason I was asking that question. You know, we had an officer here in northern Iowa killed a couple weeks ago. You see on the news and stuff the huge outcry of support from the community and also the law enforcement community. But I know that affects the law enforcement community personally, whether or not they knew that person or not. You know, so my curiosity was just there on, you know, how it affects the agency as a whole and things like that, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I just this past May, I went to Police Week down in D.C. I don't know if you remember when we had it was after the Alton Sterling incident we had down here. They had that guy that came and ambushed all the cops and shot them. And Nick Touye, he was a motorcycle cop. He was in a car that day, and he got shot in the head and the chest and some other stuff. Well, he didn't die. He ended up living for quite a few years after it. He was never himself, but he finally passed away from his injuries, you know, and they were putting him on the wall. So I went down there and helped do escorts and stuff in D.C. for him, so because I knew him personally. And it's just, yeah, it's very, you know, you don't forget. I still got pamphlets around here from different cops' funerals I've been to that I knew personally and stuff like that. I've died in motorcycle accidents, you know, got shot and killed, stuff like that.
On a more lighter topic, what kind of bike do you ride?
We around here we all have Harley Davidson Road Kings. I think we got one guy that's got a fairing bike, which is like an electric glide. But we all ride Road Kings. Walker PD shifts and BMWs, but I don't think they have them anymore.
Is that like your preferred? That's like the old school, like police motorcycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you guys part of the Harley Davidson program?
What are you talking about?
Like Harley Davidson has a program.
That leasing stuff?
Yeah.
No. My department buys the motorcycles outright, and the other department I work for also bought the motorcycles outright.
No Jeremy DeWitt bikes then.
No, that's I think he's riding a BMW. That dude's a freaking fool.
Oh my god.
That's an understatement. Full is giving him too much.
Yeah,
He's
I
an
mean,
absolute fucking idiot.
That dude there. I mean, I don't understand what kind of laws they have over there for that in Florida.
Yeah.
We don't have. You can't pay somebody to run an escort like that. Either the cops are doing it or it's not getting done. They don't have.
You know what's crazy about that is in Iowa, you can pay for a funeral escort, and they can use red and white lights and a siren. But
what authority do they have?
What's that?
What authority do they have
None.
to stop traffic?
None.
The law
Those
says
lights.
they can. There's a specific law on funeral escorts in Iowa.
If
But,
they don't stop though, they can't. It's not like they can. You know, they can't pull you over and write you a ticket or anything.
No, but they have the authority to block intersections and stop traffic and all that
Yeah.
stuff like that.
They shouldn't, but yeah, they do.
My
Now,
point
it's
to this
not
is
super
though.
common.
My point to this though is, you know, first responders, firefighters, EMTs, or whatever in Iowa, we can only have blue and white lights, and we're not allowed to use a siren, and we're going to people that are still alive, and we're not allowed to speed or anything. But these funeral escort people who are escorting dead bodies can do whatever in the hell they want, basically.
So y'all, what in your personal vehicles talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
You can only have blue and white.
Yep.
Oh no! See, in Louisiana, now the fire trucks are allowed to have blue lights on the back of them. Now, all blue lights is usually state police. Blue and white is used by police departments. Sheriff's office used the red and blue, and fire departments on the front can use red or red and white. And then you can either have, like, mall police have green lights, and construction work and stuff like that, or tow trucks have yellow.
See,
Amber.
that's the other thing. In Iowa, tow trucks can have red and blue lights with a siren too.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's new.
No,
That
like
was
that.
weird to me.
Blue is more reserved just for the police.
Yeah, Iowa's got some fucked up laws when it comes to that stuff. It's just like the hospitals that Corwin and Jake work at. They run red and blues and sirens on their cars.
For what?
However,
Well, where's the
cars,
hospital worker going? You talking about the ambulance?
No, they
So-
have patrol cars. So up where they work, they have 3 hospitals in a metropolitan area. And the way that they operate is like, so Jake is the night shift supervisor. He's in charge of security at all 3 hospitals. So if there's a lockdown at the hospital across town for a shooting or whatever, he has to respond to that.
Now, the way that the hospital gets around that, because we're not considered law enforcement, obviously, we're private citizens, the patrol cars are designated as ambulances. And our EVOC training goes through that.
That's not true. They're not designated as ambulances. They're designated as first responder vehicles.
Ambulances, first responder vehicle, it's the same damn thing. Anyway, that's how they classify it and get our shit through the state DOT. Because we have Narcan on board, we have an AED. I think that's what they require for that classification.
Well,
But we
in
can't
Louisiana, you would have either green lights or amber lights.
We can't just use our lights and sirens for whatever we want. It has to fit a certain scenario of what we're responding to. So, like, if I have officers fighting, I can use my lights and sirens. But if I have someone that's, I don't know,
Being
just
verbally aggressive.
being stupid, I can't just use my lights and sirens. It's not like police. I can't just turn them on whenever I feel like it, or if I want to, don't want to sit at this red light, whatever.
So get your stuff right, Corwin.
He's a
Jake
baby.
Jake is spoken.
He's only,
Jake is
he's
3
only
years
been-
older than I am.
He's only been
He can
doing
go
this
fuck
for
himself.
not even a year yet, I think, or just now coming.
It
up
was
to a year.
different when I worked there. When I worked there, we used them sons of bitches for whatever we wanted. We had a guy pull someone over on the interstate because he was a fucking retard. But
The guy driving the hospital
yeah,
thing, or the guy.
yeah, he was just a fucking retard. He decided he was going to pull someone over on the interstate.
That's one of them videos. It's like, oh, when the guy pulls over a real cop off duty.
Well,
This
Jake
same
and I
guy
were-
though, I mean, we're talking like 3 days after all the rioting and stuff because of George Floyd. Broad daylight picks up an African American gentleman that's in handcuffs behind his back, already handcuffed, and body slams him on the ground as hard as he can in front of God and everybody
For what?
because he wasn't listening.
He resisted walking.
He was.
Yeah, that's all he did. He literally just resisted walking.
He just stopped walking.
Yep.
Yeah, so he thought he would just body slam him on the ground.
So now he's really not walking
No,
No.
well, he
No.
wasn't
because
even
now you done
walking,
threw
though.
him on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, this guy wasn't the brightest. He was a couple French fries short of a Happy Meal.
Take it, he's not employed there anymore.
No, he's not.
We had a guy pull over a doctor right out in front of our hospital, and he's now an EVOC instructor.
Who, the doctor or the guy?
The guy, they kept him. He got his car privileges taken away, and now he's an EVOC instructor.
Mm.
I will say
That just
they handled it can't go in too much about it because I work there, but it was handled the way it should have been. The term he got his PP spanked. Yeah, he got his PP spanked with a hammer. So I hope to God he learned his lesson, and he's not on my shift, thank God, because I'd have done killed him by now.
oh my God.
But knock on wood, he'll never do anything ignorant like that again. And he
Don't
learned
ever
real
say
quick
never.
that- I know. That's like saying that you've seen everything. Don't ever say that. So
For y'all's hospital is just supposed to be violent.
Oh, they're
Can be.
it's bad sometimes.
it's very violent. We answer 4,000 calls a month.
In the hospital?
Yeah, in the hospital.
Security does.
Yeah. We have a standalone 911 dispatch center that does all of our own dispatching.
I must have a lot of retarded people over there in Iowa.
Well,
That's all I
jacked
gotta
up on
say.
meth, man.
Meth and fentanyl. But yeah, we answer a lot of calls, and I would say an easy 65% of those calls where we have to do some kind of physical restraint or fight somebody.
You don't just let them give y'all like 1,000,000-volt stun guns. They'll just like
Shit.
knock their ass out completely.
You know what's even
Yeah.
crazier is we don't carry anything except for a baton and pepper spray.
Yeah, I don't think y'all. They probably discouraged the use of pepper spray indoors, right?
Well, we have this alternative.
We have an alternative. It's called Repulse. But I've had it fail me twice against armed people.
What is the repulse? Is that like when you grab them and you stick somebody's nose underneath your armpit after you've been sweating and hadn't put any deodorant on and you're real repulsive?
You're
It
pretty
smells
damn
about the
close.
same.
Yeah, it smells about the same.
Oh, so you're like firing stink bugs at them or something?
More or less. No.
So basically, it's a it's like pepper spray, but it only affects the person that's been sprayed. So as long as you don't get it in your eyes, it will not affect you at all. But once you get it in your eyes, it keeps you from opening your eyes, because if you open them, it has a reaction with the air, and the chemical starts to burn your eyes.
It's made from a food preservative chemical that smells like freaking vinegar. It does hurt worse than pepper spray, but you can wipe it away essentially. You can't, like, pepper spray, you start wiping it, smearing it, it gets worse. The Repulse, you can just wipe it away.
Decon takes about 2 minutes as opposed to 40.
I think. Have y'all seen that TikTok challenge they use with that fish from Sweden?
Oh, the Strogard fish.
Yeah, y'all ought to just get some of that juice and put it in a squirt bottle, and when they say no, you just squirt it in their mouth.
Oh my god!
Instant compliance, because they'll probably get it throwing up.
It would be very effective, I could imagine.
Yeah, I think it would work great.
Repulsive. It just All
I know is when the people just like puncture the can to open it and hadn't even opened the can. As soon as like the air is released, they start gagging. It's that bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I actually was walking through Walmart, I don't know, a month ago or so, and they had it on the shelf, and it was like $10 for one can, and I just couldn't bring myself to spend $10 on something that was going to make me throw up.
Dude, I just spent like $34 on 2 suckers and a gummy bear. Because I bought one of them little nitro gummy bears, and
I've wanted to do that too.
And 2 with a devil toenail or whatever was it called?
Nitro gummy bears.
The toe of Satan, right here.
Oh,
that's when you're supposed to hold it in your mouth for 5 minutes.
Have you done the Pocky Chip challenge? I'm
not doing it of them. I'm trying to get other people to do it. I'm not stupid. And I got this.
To win a free T-shirt, right?
I got the 1 chip challenge thing right here.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, the Pocky.
Yeah, I got
chip.
That they're stopping making now because it killed someone.
One person dies and they won't fuck shit up. You know, the little nitro bear right there.
I've heard that those little bears are hot as hell.
That's what I don't get. It's like somebody died from the 1 chip. You know what? People die in cars all the time. I don't see y'all outlawing them. Well, gas ones y'all are, but
how many people die from drinking every day?
Exactly.
You're talking to people, we working at the hospital, we got to restrain naked people all the fucking time. And I can tell you this, it is never a naked person you want to look at.
Exactly.
And it is always the most disgusting fucker on the face of this earth. I had a guy around the time Corwin started working for me. Oh man, he wouldn't leave the hospital, whatever. So I go there. I said, "Hey man, you gotta get the fuck out of here." And he swung on me to hit me, and I took him down to the ground. And for some unknown reason, I don't know what, his fucking pants came off. So I'm. That sounds terrible. I mounted this guy.
Guy's pants fall off, and all I did was mount them. Just call me a cowgirl.
So
Jake earned his spurs.
I've mounted this guy, and I gotta quit using that term.
Nah, keep using it. It's great. It's great content.
So our dispatch sees this happening on camera, and they call for help for me and whatever, and my help gets there, and this guy is literally like thrusting up into me, and at the end of it,
how many inches can you take, Jake?
I took quite a few, unfortunately. But at the end of it, the nurse is like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I was just raped by somebody I don't want to be raped by." And my partner was like, he's like, "You think you got it bad? I had the guy's pimply ass in my face the whole time." It's just, like I said, it is never a naked person you want to see. It's always the most disgusting shit ever.
And you have a 50-50 shot of them being covered in shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That was
we had a sergeant. It's an old episode I did. The sergeant, this sergeant works out there. I nicknamed him Poppycock, Sergeant Poppycock, because I rolled up. I saw a whole bunch of units at a call. I didn't even know what they had. I was going somewhere else. I rolled up, so I stopped, and I was like, let me see what they got going on. I get out, and they were arresting people for meth and all kind of other shit. Well, the sergeant was over there doing a pat down on the guy before he put him in the unit. So he patted him down, and he hit him a second time, and I'm sitting there, and I look, and this dude had I don't know why, but he had a hole in his jeans. His button and zip, but he had a hole in it, and his dick was hanging out this hole in his jeans. And I looked at the sergeant and put him in the car, and I'm like, you realized you just like touched that dude's dick twice, right? Like, you didn't have gloves on. It's like your bare hand touched his bare dick 2 times. He's like, no. I'm like, God, you didn't feel it? No, it ain't out. And he opened the car door and looks at the guy sitting down in the back of the unit, and his dick's still sticking out of his pants there. He's like, shit. And he slams the door. I said, you just sent that dude to jail. He's like, I don't care. That damn cop gave me a hand job twice. It's just like, that's how he got the nickname Poppycock. You can't live it down. It's like, it's okay, because every hand you've ever shook, male or female, after a certain age in your life, has had a dick in its hand at one point. Just as a male, you don't want it another person's dick.
It's not something that you look back on. You're like, man, I touched that man's dick. Not real proud of that.
Now every time you shake somebody's hand, you're going to think about they've had a dick in their hand.
Yeah, we'll just have that in the back of my mind every time I reach my hand out to
I always tell people I don't shake hands. I'm good.
Need to go back to the COVID rules and bumping elbows or whatever.
Oh my gosh, y'all worked at a hospital during that shit.
Joe,
those two did.
Oh well,
I was during that, and man, that
fucking
was
terrible.
I got a bunch. I made like $70,000 that year, though. I made a shit ton of money on overtime.
Did they force y'all to take the Fauci ouchie?
The vaccine, yeah. When we were forced to take it, you could get religious exemptions. I'm sorry. You could get religious I cannot say that word.
Exemption?
Yeah, there you go. Jeez.
Are you having a fucking stroke, Jake?
Maybe. Fuck, smelt burnt.
He was thinking about when that guy was thrusting into him.
Yeah, but
Jake is thinking back. He should have touched his dick.
They forced us to get the vaccine or we'd be fired. So that was our options.
I figured.
How was it for COVID? How was it for you? Like, did it affect policing in any way for you guys?
Well, where I worked, my boss didn't make us get it, the shot. And if you did get it and you caught COVID, and while you were off, they paid you and they didn't take away from your sick time. If you didn't get the shot and you caught it, you had to use your sick time. I had to use my sick time. Other than I actually didn't mind COVID because they shut everything down, and I drive 40 miles each way back and forth to the parish I work. So there was no traffic because everybody was at home.
I say the same. I loved it when
I did because nobody was out and about. I mean,
yeah, our problems with like dealing with people dropped tenfold. Now I will say our issues dealing with people on a patient level increased tenfold because everybody's at home and they're all fucking going crazy now. So once they go crazy, now they come to the hospital. So we dealt with a higher increase of mental health patients, but we dealt with a lower populace in general, which was nice. Because granted, the job I work, we deal with people all the time, but I fucking hate dealing with people. So it's very contradictory to say, but I don't know. That's just how it is.
Well, I caught COVID from my wife. I caught COVID D, which I'll say it kicked my fucking ass. The second time I caught it, I didn't even realize I really had it. But I tested positive, but I think I felt bad for like an hour or two, and that was it. So first time I got it, I mean, I tell anybody, oh yeah, it kicked my ass, but you get a bad case of the flu, it can kick your ass too. So
so I've had COVID 3 times, and I think Joe's had it more than I have. He's had it.
I just had it for the 4th time about a month and a half ago.
And you had the shot.
Yeah.
Both of us.
The difference is this last time I had it, it was like the 48-hour flu. I was sick for 48 hours, and then after that, I was perfectly fine.
And we've talked about it.
And I don't know if you can attribute the vaccine to that or not. Yeah, I have no idea. But like I said, I was sick for 48 hours and better.
Like I told a lot of people, I'm not your people tell me, well, you're an anti-vaxxer. Bullshit, I am. I get the flu shot every year. I've got the shingle shot. I've gotten, pneumonia shots. I believe in vaccines. But also what I believe in is not being a guinea pig, okay? Because I also know that you usually take a long time before they okay shit. And last time I checked, I didn't have no tail on me. So I just didn't want to be a lab rat. And it seems like my conspiracy theory thing is it just seems like after a lot of people got those shots, they had a lot of young people ended up getting sick and dying and stuff from other stuff.
Let's say the first time I got COVID, I'll tell that story of how I contracted it in just a minute. But the first time I got it, it wasn't bad at all. But then I got vaccinated, and the second time I got it, it kicked my ass. Like it was terrible. And again, I'm not a fucking scientist or anything. I'm a public safety officer. I don't know if the vaccine had anything to do with it being worse, but it was definitely worse tenfold after I had the vaccine. But so the first time I got COVID, it's a very nasty story of how I contracted it.
It was from that guy thrusting inside of you.
You're not far off. So one of the hospitals that we run, they run a intensive care unit for people that are detoxing from narcotics or alcohol. So we had this guy down there, and I don't remember exactly what he was detoxing from. But most of these people are court held, so the court says that they've got to come to the hospital, detox, yada yada yada. So he decided he wanted to leave, which isn't an option, and so he started fighting us. And we had the mask and stuff on. This is during COVID, and he kicked me in the face, and it knocked the mask up over my eyes. So I just ripped the son of a bitch off. And then as soon as I ripped it off, he leaned forward, and I went to say, get the fuck down, whatever. I don't know. Tell him to get down or whatever. And as soon as I opened my mouth, he spit a loogie down my throat. And he was COVID positive. And I think 2 days later, I tested positive for COVID. I was like, you son of a bitch. I'd rather be punched any day of the week than have someone spit on me. That's just the most nasty, vile thing that someone can do.
So you're a swallower, huh?
Unfortunately, I have
He
to say yes to that question.
he likes being thrusted into and spit in his mouth.
It's
just what he's into.
There's a running joke at work that I always end up having to deal with that kind of nasty shit. I always have to deal with naked people, nasty naked people.
Or getting bit in the dick.
Yeah, that's happened too.
Well, he told you to stop using your teeth, Corwin.
Yeah,
Guilty as charged.
A lot of these new officers that we have that work for us, they're all for that fight, as long as they know that they're going to come out on top. And
you never know if you're going to come out on top.
Well, that's the only way that they will engage, or if they have multiple, friends there with them. And I'm one of those people that, I'm no badass or anything. You can be 6 foot tall and, jacked. I'll still try and fight you. These younger kids, whatever, I'm 30, so I can start calling them kids now. They don't care. They'd rather, could they look for that praise because they got into that fight, and it's like you guys you're doing this for the wrong reasons, and a different generation. Joe and I were raised like sounds a little weird, but like how you are and how you were raised, and what we've learned about you talking to you could easily be my dad, because we were raised down south southern Iowa.
I hear that, Iceman. He's calling you daddy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what my daughter would tell you. She's like, I was the dad, I was the parent. I got called to the school when she was in elementary school from her misbehaving, and I pulled her out of the class and whipped her ass in the hallway and told her if they called me back up there again, I'd pull her in front of the class and whip her ass in front of all her friends. And she's like, and I also knew it's like, look, if you get arrested, don't call me to get you out, because I'm not going to come get you out. And it happened to my son one time when he was like 16, got picked up for something. And I ended up, they were like, okay, well, you can bring him home. I'm like, nope. They were like, what? I said, place him. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Now I had them lock him up. He was in there for about a month or two. So it's like, I told my kids when they were growing up, don't play the game if you don't want to pay the price for it. I'm in it. I'm one of them tough love parents.
See, my dad was gone a lot when we were growing up because he drove semi over the road. So my mom was involved in a lot of our growing up. And my mom is the one that got us in trouble. We'd come home and be like, yeah, the teacher said this or told us we had to do this or whatever. My mom would be like, go back to school and tell her she's a bitch. And we do it. And then I remember one time specifically, Jake got in trouble in school for something. I don't remember what. And so they called my mom, and my mom came to the school and was talking to the principal or whatever. And the principal's like, well, for his punishment, we're going to have him clean the bathrooms after school. She said, all right, that's great. That's a good idea.
With a toothbrush. She said I was going to do it with a toothbrush.
And she's like, yeah, that's a great idea, And she says, that'll be $7.25. And the principal said, what do you mean $7.25? She says, you're going to pay him $7.25 an hour or he ain't going to do shit. And so my mom got us in so much trouble growing up. And then we'd go home and then we'd get in trouble again because we did something she told us to do.
You don't do what I say.
That's exactly what it would be. Just because I told you to do it didn't mean I meant actually do it. Like, what do you mean, woman? You're giving me mixed emotions here.
Mixed emotions?
Yeah, same thing.
Have y'all ever watched the TV show Animal Kingdom?
Yeah.
I have not.
Not the one with the animals. The one with it's a family of like criminals.
Oh no, I've seen it though. I thought you were talking about the National Geographic one.
No. I think it's on Prime or Hulu or something like that. If you get a chance to go watch Animal Kingdom, because the mom on there, they call her Smurf, and she's like the head of their crime family.
That's my childhood to a T. I remember one year for homecoming, we TP'd the shit out of our entire block. I mean, we just completely covered it. And we went to bed, and we had some friends stay over that night. And my mom wakes us up at like 7:00 in the morning, and she says, "You guys better get your asses out there and clean that toilet paper up. The cops were just here, and they said you got an hour, or they're coming back." So we go out there and we clean up all this fucking toilet paper that we'd just thrown last night. We get done, we go in the house. She says, "I was just fucking with you. They weren't here. Make you guys clean it up."
It might not come to surprise to anyone in here. I didn't do shit like that. I was too scared my dad beat my ass.
You're a little angel. So
fuck off, bitch.
With your podcast, do you have like a ultimate like goal with your podcast of what you want to do with it or what you'd like to see it become?
I'd like to get bigger. Once I retire, it'd be nice to be able to say, "Hey, I'm making my extra money doing a podcast." But we'll see.
Well, I mean, Iceman, they say after retirement you do put on about 15-20 pounds. So
I hope
getting bigger is not going to be a problem.
I hope not. I mean, that's what I would like to. I mean, I make a little money. I got a Patreon, and I got some merch and some stuff like that, and some little advertising. I make enough about to, cover my overhead. I mean, I wouldn't mind making some money. I'd love to be able to do like live shows for real in front of a live audience would be cool, but I don't know if that ever happened.
I got some sound effects I can throw your way if you want to make it feel like that's what's happening.
Oh, I have plenty sound effects. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna keep going either way. Like I said, it's kind of my hobby. I don't hunt and fish no more and stuff like that. I kind of podcast. It's a good outlet too. When I get angry, I go on Patreon and put out like a rant episode or something. I got a website with all my stuff on it too. I don't know. It's fun.
So I was the one that originally came across you, and the one that you originally spoke with through email, and
Joe fucked it up after that.
when I first came across,
don't accuse me of stuff when I'm gone.
When I
wasn't accusing, I was telling the truth.
You interrupt me one more time, I'm gonna come through this fucking computer.
Fucking do it. Make my day.
But when I
he's gonna go to your house, hang something on that wall.
Yeah. I had to buy him sound foam because his fucking house is so desolate that the echo is just ridiculous.
I just fucking moved here.
But when I first came across your page, I was like, this looks like a very interesting guy that I would really like to interview one of these days. And like we just did another interview Wednesday, I believe, with a pretty I don't know what you want to call him, famous person in the cybersecurity world. But like that, I just emailed you off of a whim, and I was like, man, this guy's never going to respond to me. We'll never get the chance to even sit down and talk to this guy. And I'm very happy that we did, because you are a down-to-earth, cool motherfucker.
Well, I appreciate it. My thing is, I'll tell anybody if they're listening, if they go to any of my sites, because I guess I've experienced it. If anybody, like a legitimate person, I get messages from these, y'all probably get them too. I get messages from, oh, if you'd like to promote your podcast, I'm like, get out of my face,
all the fucking time.
Yeah. So, but if a legitimate person or another podcast people actually contact me, I always try to, and it's me too. Somebody else does it. I personally contact each and every single person back. It's usually as fast as I can. So, because I've tried to contact some people before, and I know they got it. They just don't respond.
It's like you could at least.
It's like, just say I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's very disheartening. It's very
disheartening.
Like, yeah, like you can at least give me a fuck you email. Like,
Exactly.
At the very least, like I understand that you're at a whole nother level than I will probably ever be, but you're still a person and I'm still a person, and I think we both deserve the same amount of respect. And it's not that hard to email back and say, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I mean, just say, hey, I appreciate it. I don't think we'd be a good fit or whatever. That's it.
I just got tired of waiting, so I commented on one of your comments.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, but like I said, or I had talked to somebody one time, and I said they were, I think they were a little bit, they were bigger than me. They weren't ginormous, but they were so big. And the first thing out their mouth, I reached out to them saying, hey, you want to be a guest or whatever, you want to swap out. First thing they asked me back is, well, how many downloads you get a month? Well, why does that matter? If you're getting more than me, I'm more than happy to try to help somebody if I'm getting more than them, vice versa. But I guess that's not the way it is. I guess some people are competitive or something like that or something. I don't know.
And it's ridiculous that people even that's even a question. Like, why does that matter?
It's me, see it don't. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care either. Like, I emailed one guy. Well, it's a couple of guys, and they're actually from Louisiana, from the New Orleans area. They were on that TV show Night Watch.
The paramedic guys.
Yeah, I cannot remember their name. It's like they just couldn't even give me the time of day, and it's like, man, like, the TV do this to you? Like, because you seem like
it does.
people,
it does
but,
it. It does it to a
TV
lot of people.
honestly did that to him because he went from being on Night Watch to a host on that body camera TV show too. He became a big. I mean, that TV changed his life.
But my thing is if I went viral overnight and let's say I became famous, it still ain't going to change who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's crazy that people, like you said, first question is how many downloads you get. Why the fuck do you care?
Why does it matter?
Is that going to stop us from making content together? Really? Like, is that going to be the barrier here that really stops you from sitting down and just having to talk to me like a human being?
I'll throw out somebody right now. He's a super great guy, and this dude does a shit ton more than me. Steve Gould with Things Police See. This dude does. He's way bigger than me. Nicest guys you ever met. He never brought it up. I've been on his podcast. Him and his other guy came on mine before. Super nice guy. I could text him right now. If he's had a guest before, and I'm like, man, I really like that guest. Whatever. I text him. I said, hey, can you get me in touch with that guest you just had? I'd like to have him on my show. Sure. And he got me in touch with him. He's not like that. This dude's just like super nice and stuff like that. But then you have the ones that are totally opposite.
So where do you see, I guess, do you have a vision for your podcast in the future? Or just whatever happens, happens?
Ask that question.
I was off. I told you I had to disconnect.
I just want to keep going. I mean, I like to get bigger. I mean, of course, I want to keep growing, but I don't know. I mean, once I retire, I'm not going to have as many stories as I have. I do notice that I get more downloads on my news stories that I cover and may have opinions on than I do on my interviews, believe it or not. So I'm thinking people might enjoy my commentary, my color commentary on news and stuff like that. So,
well, honestly, I think, like, again, following your Facebook and now talking to you, I think you're obviously a very relatable person because you're very real. You don't sugarcoat shit. You just
no, I can't stand fake people.
And like, that's what more people should be, the kind of content people should be watching, but instead they go for this fake shit all the time and this reality TV or whatever, and it's like, you guys have no grasp on what the real world actually is.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody meets me in person, well, the wife thinks I may start getting a little bit more, maybe popular, a little bit bigger, once I don't have to use a filter no more.
Are you gonna, so when you're done doing police work,
the filter's coming off.
Are you excited to do that? Like, has
Yeah.
the filter been like?
Well, almost. I mean, I like my filter, but that's. I mean, I think it holds me back some, but because of what somebody people might watch, click on it and see a thumbnail or something, say, oh, he's just a joke or something. He's got a filter on his face, you know. But I'm like, if you meet me in person, you meet me on the phone. Wherever you meet me, I'm always the same person. And I know people personally that, you know, if you meet them over here, you'll think they're the biggest religious person in the world. But behind closed doors, they're a totally different person. Or they act this way here. I act the same way regardless, period. I don't adjust my personality to fit nobody.
It takes too much work to do that.
Somebody, and you know, I'm the type of person, either you like me or you hate me. There's no in between. If you don't like me, I don't care. Move on down a bit. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. You know, I'm not gonna lose no sleep over it. So, but I'm real. Somebody, you know, like, oh, you rude. No, I didn't lie to you. Oh, does that look good on me? No, it makes your ass look fat. Go change. You know, what the hell's that cologne you have on? You smell like dog shit. I'd rather somebody tell me that than say, oh yeah, it smells good. Now I think I smell good and I'm running around smelling like dog shit all day, you know? Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather somebody hurt my feelings or whatever, tell me the truth about it than sugarcoat or lie about it.
And the unfortunate part of our society today is people would rather be lied to than have the fucking truth told to them, because for some reason the truth is too hard to bear.
Well, they have safe spaces now. What the hell is that?
What's to protect my feelings there, Iceman?
No, what our safe space was you get to go to your room and cry after you got your ass beat by your parents. That was your safe space.
Get that?
You didn't get no ass beating?
Oh no, I got my ass beat. I shared a room with my brother, so.
Oh well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's just the way it was, baby. And that was after the lady down the road beat your ass for doing it, and then she called your mom. Your mom beat your ass again.
What advice would you have for anybody who wanted to go into law enforcement today?
If you want to be a cop today, you better have some thick skin, because you're going to be hated more than you are liked. Can't take anything personal. People are going to, talk about you, talk about your mama, talk about your wife, talk about everything. You just can't take nothing personal. It's a job. And if you do get in law enforcement, don't lie. Even any job in general, you shouldn't lie, especially if you're in law enforcement and they call you, called in. Don't lie about nothing. Just tell the truth. Take your freaking licks, because the only thing that you really have in this world is your word and your integrity. And once you lose that, you're just kind of worthless. So just always tell the truth. Don't matter, even if you get in trouble. Trust me, I've been like that in my career too. I've been suspended a lot of times and all that stuff, but any of the people I've ever worked for, I'll tell you, he's never lied to me. It's like, did you tell that motherfucker he ought to get off of steroids before his dick fell off? Yeah, basically that was the exact quote I told him. Yeah, so that was a day off. But I've never lied. Just always tell the truth. And like I said, you can't take shit personally. Be prepared. You're going to get hurt physically. Be prepared, because it's going to fuck you up in the head mentally. You're going to have nightmares. You're going to dream about shit. You're probably going to end up with, and it's going to change the whole complete person that you are from when you started. You become cynical, and it's just, by the time you retire, you're just going to have all kind of shit fucked up with you, physically and mentally. So good luck. So, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You leave this job fucked up.
Real quick, your answer brought me another question. Do they have like a Brady list or anything for Louisiana?
They got one. I'm not on
it. Well, I'm gonna guess not at this point. I was just curious.
Very good to know. Glad you were not on it and have stayed off of it for your career.
Yeah, but they do have a Brady list.
I was just curious, because Iowa has done a piss poor job. They have one, but it's maintained like terribly. Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Iowa doesn't have an official Brady list. They have their own system, because they don't follow, I think it's like federal guidelines for a Brady list. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a cop. But our Brady list isn't maintained, and the one that they
Well,
do keep.
that's the whole
much
thing when I
better.
say, your word and your integrity is your main thing. Don't ever lie about something. Like I said, I mean, and it just be something stupid, Last thing you know, I was cutting grass a long time ago, a couple of years ago, and I slung a rock and it busted out the window in my unit, side window. So the phone call I didn't want to make, I had to call my captain at the time. He's a major, and say, "Hey, I was cutting grass and busted out my side window." He's like, well, believe it or not, the sheriff himself called me and thanked me. I was like, for what? For breaking the window? Well, but this was the new boss I have. And I was like, he's like, no, I just want to thank you because you called and you told the truth. He said, believe it or not, most people just said, oh, I come out from Walmart and it was broke or like this and that. It's like, well, no, I don't want to lie about it. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, I did it. It was an accident. If you want me to pay for the new window, I totally understand. He's like, oh, no. When you come in Monday, we're going to take care of it. I just want to let you know I appreciate you telling me the truth. A lot of people's like, oh, did you get suspended? I'm like, no. They're like, what? I'm like, no, I mean, I told the truth. But it's all about telling the truth. People don't realize that. Tell the truth.
Yeah,
That's all you got to do.
Completely. Being a supervisor, I have 15 officers underneath me, and I tell them all the time, regardless of what you did, good or bad, just tell me the truth. Because one, I'm going to find out regardless.
Well, if I'm asking you, usually I already know. So
Exactly. And two, when you lie to me, not only are you going to get in more trouble if you might have not gotten any trouble, but not only are you going to get in more, but I've just lost so much respect for you, and your integrity has gone completely.
Every time that person tells you something from now on, you like, is it the truth or is it a lie?
Real quick, we'll wrap this up. Go follow us on, look for us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever in the heck we have. Corwin's still working on the website. Same thing for MotorCop Chronicles. You find him on Facebook, all the popular podcast platforms. Our training tip for today is go to the copstrainingportal.org. They have some great stuff, free trainings, all sorts of things to advance your knowledge, things like that. And our gear review is check out the UltlarFire WF-502B. Jake has carried this flashlight for 2 years. It's been a great small flashlight for him, very bright and take a beating. It's done well in our Iowa weather. The downfall is it's not rechargeable. It takes a small lithium battery. They do last a great amount of time. The one he bought came with a holster. Probably spend a little bit of extra money, get yourself something a little better quality holster. Other than that, unless someone else has got something for you, look for us on the next time on Beyond the Barrier, and we'll catch you later.
And that's a wrap for another episode of Beyond the Barrier. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of public safety, fire, law enforcement, EMS, and security with us. Your trusty hosts, Jake, Joe, and Corwin. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on social media for even more exclusive content and behind-the-scenes look at our guests and topics. But for now, it's time to put down the walkie-talkies and hang up the handcuffs. We'll catch you next time on Beyond the Barrier, where we'll continue to break down barriers and explore the exciting world of first responders and security professionals. Stay safe out there.